Our last Bible study on last words continues with this second one. On many of the shows that Holly and I watch on cable TV, a new episode is first introduced with a recap of what's gone before. And that's a good thing. Even when Holly and I are binge watching, I often need reminders of where we've been and what's already happened. So I wonder if that might also be helpful in this last Bible study on last words. The more I think further about Moses' last words, his farewell speech, which is all of Deuteronomy, but in particular chapter 30, verses 11 to 20, that we had looked at before, the more I marvel at what that represents. Realizing that almost certainly Deuteronomy was in fact written during or soon after the exile, which is of course hundreds and hundreds of years after Moses actually died, the second giving of the law, which is what Deuteronomy is, allowed God's people to create, understand, and be covenanted in a new understanding of themselves and a new identity. When land, king, kingdom, and temple were lost, who were they? How could they still be God's people? Well, as we saw, they can individually swear allegiance to Torah, God's commandment or instruction. And Torah, again, as our passage last time showed, is not esoteric, difficult, or far away. No. In fact, again in our passage, each individual is to take in and cling to God's Torah through the mouth by memorizing and reciting it. In so doing, then, they remain bound to God without land, king, kingdom, and temple. It's a masterpiece, and its brilliance continues to this day, because to this day Torah, the law, is still the bedrock of Jewish identity, practice, and self-understanding. Now, Christianity will, of course, challenge and broaden that identity and understanding of what it means to be God's people. And it will challenge and broaden the legacy of Moses for God's people. And it will do so on the basis of the very text of Deuteronomy itself. So, to see this and to understand it for yourself, turn now to Deuteronomy 18, 15 to 22.